I want to talk about stress today. We're just a couple weeks out of Are You OK Day, and that's a week that I didn't post because I was feeling a bit stressed because I had so much to do. And part of that was not work related. Part of that was doing things around our house. Many of you know that we bought a house in North Queensland, and it's a beautiful brand new house, but the yard has a lot of work to be done. So we were at our local Bunnings, which is a local hardware store for those of you in the States. It's like Home Depot or Lowe's. We were at our local Bunnings meeting with the trade manager, Mark. Now, Mark's a really interesting guy, and I've put another post up on LinkedIn, or will put another post, I'm not sure which order, but there are two posts about my conversation with Mark. One was about how his career trajectory and how he really managed to leverage his strengths or innate abilities. But this one is about stress, and that's why I tied it back to Are You OK Day. When I said last week I didn't post, or 2 weeks ago during Are You OK Day week, I didn't post because I was feeling a bit stressed. Mark actually challenged me on that. He said, "Were you feeling stressed, or were you just busy? Are you just busy this week?" And I said, "Well, I'm just busy, but it kind of feels stressful because I have too much to do and too little time to do it." He goes, "Yeah, I get that." He said, "I get that you're busy and that you feel like you have to accelerate the pace at which you're working just to get everything done." He said, "But is that really stress?" I said, "Well, tell me more about that, Mark. What do you mean?" He said, "Well, I have always had a different relationship to stress. To me, stress is when something is really significantly happening in your life, like you're homeless, or you've just had a real severe setback, a health setback, or with somebody that you love, something that is endangering your safety or well-being, or somebody that you love, their safety or well-being." And I said, "Wow, that's a really interesting take on it." He said, "I hear all the time people being stressed in the workplace, but I don't think that that's actually stress. I think that we are mislabeling the emotions that we're feeling." He said, "Sometimes the emotions are just what you've described. You've got too much to work to do and too little time. And sometimes the emotions are just the fact that you're not in the right job." And of course, my, interest level peaked at that moment. And I said, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "I've seen people truly stressed, truly, feeling anxiety not because they're overworked, because many times when they're overworked, they're actually capable of getting the job done. But when they feel overwhelmed because they're not capable of getting the job done, they are in a job that doesn't suit them." And I said, "Okay, tell me more about that." He said, "Well, that could happen twice. When you first take a job and there's a lot to learn." And he had just taken a job as a trade manager at our local Bunnings. He said, "There was so much to learn, and I wasn't sure that I could climb the mountain. But I did. I learned the job, and my feeling of what others would term stress went away." He said, "So I think that's one time that people feel stress. But another time that people feel stress is just the opposite, when they are in a job that is boring to them, that they can do what they need to do very, very quickly. There's no challenge. There's no fire there." He said, "And the third time is when they're in a job that is not suited for them." He said, "A lot of times we take jobs because we think that this is the job that we should take. We've been told that in order to make more money, we have to supervise people, even though so many people shouldn't be supervising, and it causes true stress, or it causes feelings that feel like stress because it's a disconnect between their abilities or their want, their will, and what they are expected to do." I thought, wow, that is fascinating. As you know, I'm a firm believer in working to your strengths, in understanding what you're good at and spending more time playing to that. The research says, and it's been right under my nose this entire time, the research says that if you do that, you feel feelings of less stress. So today, I want to challenge you around two things. Number one, those feelings that you get, are they stress or are they something else? And number two, how can you spend more time working in the areas of your strengths, and how can you help your team do the same? I'd love to hear your comments down below. Speak soon.